Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go three abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a rep. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello, everyone. This is the 42nd annual AGCO Jackson Nationals Wing Nation show presented by Drydene. I'm Erin Evernham alongside Ashley Stremme. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to get to Jackson Nationals. And Ashley, this was going to be your first year coming with us, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never been to Jackson ever. So I was super excited, and I've heard so many good things from you, Steve and Craig, that, I was so looking forward to this weekend. And unfortunately, we had a global pandemic happen, and now we're sitting here just talking about it instead of being there. So hopefully I'll get to go back next year, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I guess I should say first that Steve Post is with his NASCAR duties at Pocono. He's doubleheader today and tomorrow. So he wasn't going regardless of this crazy pandemic. But it's been really hard for us to just watch this. It's great that we have Dirt Vision. It's great to watch it. But it's hard for us not to be there. In the past, we've done the Pancake Breakfast, the Lions Club. We've talked about the 5K, the stuff with the Hall of Fame there. The Jackson Nationals has a really rich history. Like we said, it's the 42nd annual. And since Todd Quiring took over the Jackson Motorplex, this thing has blown up. Every year that we've gone back, the crowds have gotten bigger, the purses have gotten bigger, the event has really grown. I wish that you got to experience, but like you said, I hope we get back there next year in 2021.
Yeah, I know you have become the professional pancake flipper, and I was hoping to get some lessons from you. Like I said, it's incredible what they do out there, and I've enjoyed watching it over the years and was so excited to be a part of it. But I've heard so much about the Minnesota Mafia, the pancake flipping, obviously just the Nationals in general is a huge crown jewel, and I hope to one day actually see the place.
Yes, let's hope we get there back next year. We have a great show coming up. You'll get a little taste of it. We've got Doug Johnson coming on, who's the general manager of the Jackson Motorplex. We have Shane Phillips from the Minnesota Mafia, Jacob Allen and Logan Schuchart, Guy Forbrook, a great number of guests joining us today. Joining us first on the show is the general manager of the Jackson Motorplex, Doug Johnson. Doug, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Man, we sure miss being there. It's just not the same watching from far away, but everything, all things considered, looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. We had some weather issues, which is kind of a commonplace, it seems like, with the Jackson Nationals. We always have something to deal with weather related, but, we always seem to overcome it. And, we got the heats in Thursday night and then got rained out. And then, so we actually just carried that program over into last night and started a little bit early and got it in. It was a long night last night, but man, it was some fantastic racing. We, not only with the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, but the non-wing feature we had last night was fantastic. And we're really looking forward to tonight. We've got one big night left tonight with $30,000 on the line and can't wait to get going.
Doug, the 42nd annual AGCO Nationals, obviously a crown jewel, 42 years in the running. What's it like, obviously, putting this specific event together each and every year and having the support that you have from the community to make this thing happen?
Well, it's tremendous. First of all, our support from AGCO, they've been behind us since Todd took this over 5 years ago. And without their support, we couldn't do this. It's tremendous to have them on board. And, they help us out throughout the whole year, not only just this event, but, we really got to see it last year where the community really started to get behind this event, and they saw, I think the biggest thing that we did is now trying to establish this on the same weekend every year and having this the last weekend of June. Everybody's kind of making plans and everybody can take their vacation for this event. And, it's really starting to come together, the 4 years previous that we put behind this and getting this going now, like you said, with the 42nd year, I see nothing but bigger and better things to come down the road.
Doug, this event, like you said, has become such a big thing just with us being there the last few years. Every year we've gone, the crowds have been bigger, the enthusiasm has been greater. But this year has been such a challenge for everyone. This pandemic is just throwing everyone for a loop. How difficult was it to prep for these Jackson Nationals? Did you have to go through county and state leaders? Like, how difficult was it for you to to do what you're doing this weekend?
It's very difficult. I mean, Minnesota right now is to be honest, is one of the most locked down states, in the upper Midwest here. I mean, all the states around us, have kind of eased the restrictions quite a bit. And, we submitted a plan to the governor's office several months ago, just to race back in May and a plan for this event as well. And, we worked really close with the World of Outlaws, and, putting a plan in place and keeping everybody safe and that type of thing. But it's, like you said, it's been a tremendous challenge. We've kind of taken our whole season just 2 weeks at a time. We had talked originally about maybe moving this event to later in the year if we could get to full capacity. And, like I said, we met with the Outlaws and, at the time just kind of decided this was the best date to keep this. Like I said before, everybody kind of had vacation planned. Some people, it was amazing to realize and to find out how many Canadian fans we have, because we had so many calls from those Canadians that can't get across the border right now, so they couldn't make it, which is disappointing. But, we're working with those people too, and trying to get their tickets rolled over into 2021 and stuff like that. So it's definitely been a challenge, but, hopefully next year we'll all be talking about this as just a thing of the past, and we can keep, like I said, keep building this event to bigger and better things.
Todd, our fans, we obviously know that they're our environment. They're what create the atmosphere of coming to the Nationals and enjoying those big crown jewel races. What's it been like being at such a lower capacity and not having the fans there to really push the Nationals and what it's all about?
Well, it's kind of an eerie feeling, really. We had a couple races early in the year with no fans, and that was a really eerie feeling. It's just, it's tough, because talking to the drivers too, they're here to put on a show for the fans. And, the nice thing about it is, with the World of Outlaws, they got Dirt Vision. So the fans that can't make it can still watch it in the luxury of their homes. But the pay-per-view stuff has really, I think, opened more doors for our sport in general, and hopefully when this, pandemic stuff is all gone, hopefully those fans actually come to the track. And that's one thing I think, tracks across the country can benefit from is to get out there and market their track to these people that can't make it. So when they can come, they actually do come to the racetrack.
Doug, you mentioned when you first came on that last night, you had to do a doubleheader. You had a little bit of rain on Thursday night. The racing has been fantastic, though. Ever since you guys made the decision to shorten the racetrack, it just seems to provide multiple lanes, great racing. What are your thoughts on the racing that your track is providing right now for all of us?
Well, and like you said, it really has. I mean, shortening this track was probably the best thing we ever did, and not only for our weekly events, but, especially for a marquee event like this too. I mean, the racing has just been fantastic. Like I said, the non-wing feature last night we had was, there was 4 or 5 cars right there at the end that could have won this thing. And, the heat races, even this entire week, we've seen tremendous heat races, and I think that helps with the format we had, we had, a local guy in, Jody Rosenboom. Take for example, he's not a extremely high funded race team, but it helped him out last night where he qualified. He got to start up front and actually made the A main. And we love to see stuff like that where our local guys, have that chance to make the A main with the World of Outlaws. And so, yeah, we're glad we shortened the track. And, I think it's just provide, the guys here with Greg and Taylor working the track. They're out there right now, working their magic, getting ready for tonight. And I think they've got a pretty good handle on this dirt now. It's kind of, a unique type of dirt that we have up here. It's, we've had to do some different things and experiment with some different things. And, I think now these guys have got it under control. And last night we had to just go out right before the feature. We didn't have to do a lot of track prep, but just to we've got some soil conditioners that just kind of basically touch up the track. And, it was fantastic racing all the way from the top to the bottom groove. And I think we'll see that again tonight.
I think so as well. Doug, thank you as always for having us, for usually having us in person, but this year for being on our show. We look forward to some great racing tonight, and we sure want to see you next year in 2021.
We want to see you guys too. So hopefully we can get back and you guys can come back out next year and join us for the 43rd annual Jackson Nationals.
Sounds good to us. Joining us now on Wing Nation, presented by Drydene, is my good friend and former crew chief for some time, Guy Forbrook. Guy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, dear.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that, last night didn't go so well, but, tell us a little bit about it. You guys were really fast. It was your first weekend, I think, with Shane Stewart, and you guys looked real good when you were out there.
Yeah, no, we come out of the box right away. We hot lap fast right away. It's a new deal, a new small team that's going to be some fun. The program's going to be really good. We just had a little glitch here in the program last night with the motor, and Ryan Morrison does our motors, and it's nothing to do with. It's probably self-inflicted from everything being in such a hurry. We crashed last week with AGCO, and I got a different fuel tank and everything on Wednesday night about 5 o'clock, and it should have been completely gone through, and we partially went through it all to get on the car, and I thought I could patch it, and it bit me. So
I hate it when that happens. Obviously, motor troubles are no fun, no matter what the issue is. But talk about that relationship with Shane. Really good out of the box on Thursday. Looked like Friday was going to be the same before the motor troubles. Just working with Shane and how this whole deal came together so quickly.
Well, I mean, I'm going to work together with AGCO. AGCO had an ARCA race this weekend, and so Shane had an open weekend, and I've raced with Shane before and been very successful with him. And we just put it together for the next weekend there to run this weekend for the Jackson Nationals. It's a good race. It's a big event. It's going to be a really big event down the road as we get rid of the COVID thing in our life. And I'm really excited about everything that's going on here.
Guy, you mentioned that it was a new small team that you're working with. It has the famous number 5 on it, so I assumed it was your car, but this is something new?
It's part my car. I'm a partner with a guy from up here in Minnesota. The company's called Precision Tool, and Jim George is the guy's partner with me, and we're just going to build a small team that we can run around the country with big races and try to win big races, and the car is very competitive already. And we're just trying to stay downsized so the overhead's not there.
Well, and you mentioned fun earlier, small deal, nothing crazy. You've got a kid like Gio Scelzi who is incredible talent. And it kind of just fits with his schedule, your schedule, and everything that's happening to keep it, like you said, fun, where you're not stressing each other out, running up and down the road. What's that going to mean to you in working with Gio?
Well, I have 40 years in this stuff here. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to wind down. And plus, I have both my kids working with me. And I have one that still wants to drive a race car, as Erin knows. And as this is going along here, things could work towards that. And but we're going to build a program here right now with Gio or Shane or Brady or whatever to get things going here and be competitive no matter if we go to North Carolina, if we go to Jackson, Minnesota, if we go to Las Vegas, whatever. I just want a program that we can be competitive with the Outlaws no matter where we go.
Well, you've always been known for having competitive cars, so I don't think that'll be a problem. Guy, I want to talk a little bit about the Jackson Nationals. I know we've talked to you in past years about it, but you're from Minnesota. You have a long history at the Jackson Nationals. Just talk about what this specific race means and how important it was to get it in this year, even with the pandemic.
Well, I think it's really important to get everybody's schedules so that way when people, if they pick something else to go fishing that weekend, then it's hard to get them back, you know? And he's trying to build a tradition now where this will be the date. It'll be a Nationals where like the Knoxville Nationals where you have your own style format, your own identity, your own thing. And at the end of the day, it's a beautiful facility. And before it's over, I think we're going to have a Knoxville Nationals and a Jackson Nationals that are going to be great big events within 5 hours of each other in the Midwest. And I would say in probably a couple of years, you're going to see a Huset's Nationals with a short track. I mean, knowing Todd, and I think it'll be a really big event too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll all be within 3-4 hours from my house.
Nothing like being able to sleep in your own bed for sure on those little big nights. But you mentioned Todd, you mentioned what he's doing and what he's built in the last 5 years and what he is continuing to build. And what have you seen over the years, not only the past 5 years, but how much this track has changed over the years and what it's become in the Nationals and how it's really grown?
Well, I worked with Todd on his race team, so I know what he's like and I know how he is. And he's very, very business orientated, but he loves motorsports and he loves racing. That's why he has a race car yet too. So whatever he does with this motorsports deal, it'll be with passion of loving the sport besides. So, I mean, the facility is going to be second to none, and he's building it up and from the camping to the facility. And the racetrack last night was amazing, I thought. I mean, for as many cars as they had, and you could run the bottom, you could run the top, you could run all over it. When he does something, he puts in 100% effort. And I think as this goes on here, you guys, this is going to be a really big event. And I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years if the Knoxville Nationals and the Jackson Nationals don't pay the same, you know, by then, where I think that he'll keep building the facility, get more attendance, more camping, and he puts back into the sport with the racers too. He pays them.
He sure does. And as you know, the payouts have always needed to increase. You know, they hadn't in years. So it's really nice to see these big events. But I got to ask you, you mentioned Houston Speedway and maybe a Nationals there. Did you just give away some like breaking news, or has it been announced tonight?
I just know how he is, and I know he's not going to go small. So, and that facility has got a lot of history too. And it's a very good short track. It's a very racy short track, and it'd be fun to watch. A lot of people come there and race that track. And I think that there could be a thing down the road. I mean, we always had Chico for the Gold Cup for the short track and that kind of stuff too. And a short track Nationals or a short track big race is very competitive, and it's really exciting too, you know? So I don't think
oh, go ahead.
I don't think he'll shortchange it at all. I think that you'll see this thing get pretty big pretty fast.
I don't think Todd shortchanges anything. But Guy, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate your insight and catching up with you. We wish you luck with your motor troubles. Hope you get it figured out by next weekend.
We'll get her hammered.
Good deal. We need to step away. Oh, go ahead.
All right.
We need to step away for a quick break. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Pride, passion, performance. We are Team Drydene.
Welcome back to the 42nd Annual AGCO Jackson Nationals Wing Nation pre-race show presented by Drydene. Joining us now is Shane Phillips, founder, proud member of the Minnesota Mafia. How are you doing, Shane?
I'm awesome.
Man, we miss seeing you guys. This is tough being so far away, but what is it like at the track this year?
Well, with everything going on, obviously there's little differences, but for the most part, kind of as normal. There was a great crowd last night. The track was in good shape. We had a bunch of awesome cars in town. So for the most part, not a lot's changed. You know, everyone's kind of minding their P's and Q's on the social distancing part and doing their best they can there. But like I said, there's only so much you can do, and we still kind of got to live our lives. So take it as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Shane, we had Doug Johnson on earlier, and we were talking about the atmosphere and the fans, since it's a minimal crowd, so a few thousand people less. What's that atmosphere been like for you? He talked about earlier in the season not having fans at all and how it was kind of eerie. But is the atmosphere, is it still electric? Is it still alive there, even though the fans are a little bit more minimal? I'm still waiting to get to Jackson. This was to be the year, and I was so excited to finally meet all the Minnesota Mafia.
Yeah, no, the attitudes, I guess, and the atmosphere last night specifically was awesome. You know, we had basically two shows, and I think the crowd reflected that, and like the racing was really good too. So everyone is fired up. I think there's a lot of pent up demand to get back out to the track too, since everything was so limited. So yeah, I echo what Doug said about being a little eerie down in Knoxville for their first couple races, which I was at in the pits with my Bell helmet dealership and doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was a very different thing. Getting folks back in there though, it's almost like riding a bike for the most part. I know for the racers, for myself, for the fans, for the track officials, it's like, oh, a big sigh of relief. Finally, we get to do what we love again. For the people at the track, they get to put on the show for us fans. For those racers, like finally get to scratch that itch and really get out there and entertain us and yeah, fulfill a little bit of their adrenaline rush too. So no, it's been great. It's been great.
Shane, we talk to you every year when we're out at the Jackson Nationals, but this year, you know, we're on wingnation.com, of course, but we're also on Dirt Vision tonight. For those people who might not know, what is the Minnesota Mafia?
We're literally just a group of race fans, sprint car fans mainly, based in around Jackson, Minnesota. So before Todd Queering bought the Speedway, Jackson Speedway then, now Jackson Motorplex. Early 2010s, racing was really struggling up here. Sprint car racing, 360 racing in particular, so we kind of focused on initially. We started, as a group of fans, we started raising some money and giving it back to the racers who came to perform for us every night. Frankly, the opportunities for us to drink beer with our buddies was dwindling. And we were like, well, we can help a little bit. If nothing else, give guys a little bit of extra incentive to come to Jackson to watch us race, or for us to watch them race. And it just kind of spiraled a little bit. We ended up raising a lot of money and was able to put on a series of races for a couple years with a pretty substantial point fund. Really think helped, bridge the gap a little bit between where we were and then when Todd kind of stepped in and really re-energized racing here. I would like to stay in the upper Midwest, but Knoxville never had an issue. We did a little further north. So yeah, I think we're, like I said, just a group of fans who really love sprint car racing and was willing to put forth a little bit of effort, time, things like that to help out. So nothing real special. Like there are a lot of other organizations around the country, Beer Hill Gang, and a lot of things on a smaller level too that do similar things that we do. And really just want to let racers know that we appreciate them. So.
I love it because it's like you almost need to be a club where you have to pay membership to be a part of it, to raise the money, because it's absolutely awesome when passion comes together on something that we absolutely love. You mentioned the Beer Hill Gang. I know growing up in Pennsylvania, I've known those guys for years, and I love what you guys have done together. They've come out to the Knoxville Nationals and hung out with you guys. You guys have gone to Pennsylvania. I mean, what you're doing for this sport, even if it is just in your local area, is absolutely incredible. And I love the fact that you guys work together, you bounce ideas off of each other, and you try to play together to make this bigger across the country. I mean, how often are you guys pitching different ideas to one another to see if things are possible to make happen?
I think there's less pitching of ideas going on and more just giving each other a hard time. And we were snapping each other back and forth. Williams Grove opened up last night, from what Matt Miller, kind of the head of the Beer Hill Gang, or Matt and Kayla, his wife, kind of ran it here the last few years. From what Matt told me last night, they had an incredible crowd out there too, and finally opening up and talk about a place with passion. Williams Grove and Beer Hill, out there in turn 3, doesn't get much more passionate than that. So more or less, we go back and forth a little bit, but mainly it's just promoting each other, and encouraging and sponsoring their T-shirts, right? Our little logo, Minnesota Mafia logos on their Beer Hill shirts and things like that. So, yeah, this is, as we all know, kind of here, anyone who's listening to this or watching, the racing community is a pretty tight knit one, and it doesn't matter if we're 18 hours away from Jackson to Williams Grove. There's a lot of commonality in those miles, and there are a lot of things that we can encourage each other and really make a benefit just promoting the sport in itself. So, yeah.
For sure. Well, Shane, we appreciate all that you do for the sport. I got to ask you a big favor. Please give my hello to Taco Tom. I'm not going to see him probably, so I just want to say hello. But hopefully next year we'll be there having a cold one with you at the penalty box.
I hope you guys will too. Like I said, missed you this year, but there's 2021 is on the horizon, and knowing Todd Queering and Doug Johnson, the work that they do, it's going to be even bigger and better than what you remembered the last time you were there. So very, very much looking forward to it as well.
Awesome. We can't wait for it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Now joining us on Wing Nation is the driver of the Team Drydene number 1A, Jacob Allen. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm good. How are you?
So last night you kind of had an up and down night, but hard charger. Tell us about last night.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the quick time was sweet. Like we were all kind of like watching Dirt Vision on the phone, and like, oh man, like we really think the bottom is like still good, but people are having a hard time hitting it. And then it got like, they're getting pretty good around the top, so we might want to clear that idea out of the way. And then somebody kind of later on the thing went around the top in 1, 2, and hit the bottom good in 3 and 4. And me and Logan were like, that's the line. Like, we're going with that one. So I just like quit watching Dirt Vision, like put that in my mind, like that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. So I qualified good, went out for my heat, like really, like Logan started in front of me in my heat race. So he was 4th, I was 6th. And I was like, all right, like, let's just like get charging. Like, let's go rip top first lap and get going. Well, he did, and I didn't. Like, I went backwards, and I was a hot mess, really. Like, I was sliding all over, missing my marks, just kind of driving too hard. And so that was bad. And then the feature was, or the B, I did really well. I felt really strong. Pittman was telling me that I was about 4/10 faster than the guys in the dash. So I didn't mess with my car at all. And I got out there and I kind of just had the mindset, like, if I'm that fast, like, there's no excuse to like run in the back here. Like I have to get going. So I just got going. Thankfully there was 2 groups. So I just bobbed and weaved. Like if somebody went one way, I went the other way, and I just kept my foot down and hope for the best.
You got to go where they're not. That's for sure. Jacob, it's been incredible to watch you this year and a half. You've grown so much, and that win is lurking right there in the distance. If it wasn't for bad luck, it just seems like last week at Hobstadt, you had that right rear flat and you were mixing it up with the top 3. Just an absolutely incredible performance, but that bad luck still just seems to fall in your lap. What has it been that's really hit home for you on what's going on in this last year?
Yeah, I would say just from I say like quarantine happened, and you know, I just thought that was a good time for me to get good mentally and physically. And what I was thinking, I was like, you know, like maybe some people might take this like, well, it's just what it is. Like we get this break off, and like they might, when we get the green light, like maybe they come back and they're not like as good, like they're so-called rusty or whatever. Maybe we all were a little rusty, but I was just thinking about myself, obviously. And I was like, you know, when they give us the green light, like I want to be good. Like I want to show up and like be freaking good. So I just started eating healthy, and I just started changing my diet, working out. I cut out the beer and stuff. And I just think that's been a huge deal. So like everybody's always like asking me like, when are you going to get that first win, or the first one's coming? And like, I know it's right there. It's been there so many times, but honestly, like, I don't think I've deserved it right until like right now. Like right now, I feel like I deserve it because like how hard I'm working at it. So yeah.
That is awesome. But you talk about eating clean and not drinking beer with the World of Outlaws, which is not an easy accomplishment. But how much of a difference has that made in the car? Like physically made you feel different in the car?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, like I've always enjoyed like having fun, hanging out with the guys. Like I like the good time. And you know, like last night, like Logan won, I ran good. We worked hard all day long, and it's like 1 o'clock. So like, instead of like maybe having like 3 beers and like chatting it up all night, it's like, you know what, eat a good dinner, load the stuff up, go get some good rest, wake up, eat a good breakfast, go back at it. So to me, I think like just consistency of keep doing that and the hard work, and just just always just trying to find that little bit to keep getting better day after day. I think I feel so good inside the car. Like last night when I was like, just from time trials, the whole thing inside the car, I just feel like I'm ready to fight and just keep like going at it. And it's awesome.
Jacob, you talk about that, and it's so cool to hear because the stupid saying is you are what you eat, and it's incredible how what you put in your body actually fuels it, and it needs to be used properly. But being on the road, how hard has that been to adjust? Because obviously it's the late nights, it's the fast food drive-throughs. How hard is it to try to eat clean and eat well and be better so that your mind is where it needs to be when it's time to strap into that race car?
Well, I think so. Like my dad and my uncle, since I was a little kid, always kind of talked about health, and my uncle's like big into health, and I've always been a little on the healthier side when it came into like eating food. But like with racing, and then I got on the road, you know, like you said, the late nights, and it's like, like hell with it. You know, tonight I'm gonna smash like a burger, fries, and a soda, and wake up and like be okay with that. And it's like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. So like this morning I woke up, I had a nice big glass of water, a couple hard-boiled eggs, an avocado, some spinach, a bowl of cereal, and like some fruit. And so like all the like different things that I think make you know, just better, like you know, like bananas and stuff for like potassium, so it should help your muscles not get so sore. And spinach is like supposed to be like Popeye, so I gotta figure that'd be all right. And you know, I just try to fuel myself so I feel good. So I'll just like from here on out, I probably won't eat a whole lot. Like if I do, it'd just be very minimum, and I'll just drink water all day and just keep hydrating myself. Because if other people are good, like the race cars are good and they're running fast, but they're getting tired, like it's been 2 days of just racing all day long in the hot sun, and you got to run you know, like a half-mile track, and it's aggressive, well, people might start getting worn out. So all I got to do is I got to get my car good, I got to run good on the racetrack, and I can't be tired. I got to be strong every single lap and just attack at all time. And I think that's where I'm at.
Well, Jacob, you've got a fast car, you've got a great attitude, you got that luck, the bad luck is out of your way, and you had a huge, healthy breakfast. So how you feeling about tonight's race? I feel great. Like I was telling these guys, like I still have a lot of work. Like I told these guys, today's like when you're going to the gym and your trainer's like, you got 1 more minute, and you're like, push it. Like you only got 1 more minute. I was like, today's like that 1 minute, you know? So, yeah, I feel great. I'm 8th in points, so that should put me first in the last heat. So the goal is I got to win that to get to the king of the hill, and then I just got to fight like through that. So there's some work for sure to be done, but I just got to keep focused. You got to do the right things and just keep plugging away. Well, it sure sounds like you've got a great attitude, and we wish you the best of luck. We're dying for you to get that first win, so go out and have a great night tonight. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Coming up after the break, we're going to have Jacob's teammate, last night's winner, Logan Schuchart. He will join us next.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Drydene.
Welcome back to Wing Nation, presented by Drydene. Joining us now on the show is the other Drydene teammate, the winner from last night, Logan Schuchart. How are you doing, Logan?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good. So last night, man, you put a whooping on him. That was a great win. I think you had like a 5-second lead or something crazy like that at the end.
Yeah, well, I knew the 49 car was starting third. Darren Pittman's always fast here. So I was, my mindset was just go as fast as you can, not make any mistakes. You kind of, collectively pass the cars when you're able to, lap cars anyway. So, I just felt like the 49 car, the 83, was going to be on my tail at any minute. So I was trying to get past and kind of keep that pace up. So it worked out. You never know how far ahead you are, but it's great to get a win, and we're in a good spot tonight.
Logan, basically 6 hours of racing last night with both races happening in one day. How is that work for you? Is it physically tasking? Is it different? Is the adrenaline just keep you going? What's it like waiting and then racing and waiting longer than normal and making 2 features, basically 2 full shows in one night? How was that, and how did you have to adapt to it?
I mean, I love it. I just love racing. So if I get the chance, I don't want to be able to do it. So, you know, we can get the show in on Thursday. I'm glad they made it up and we're able to run 2 shows. But it's definitely a long day for, you know, the guys. I still help work on the car as well as Jake. So, but I know what it's like to be out here and work on these cars all day. And so these guys, you know, I feel for them. You know, I'm trying to help them when I'm done my jobs to help them and get them done, because it's definitely a long, hot day. And but as far as the racing wise, now when it's time and the car's ready and we're ready to get in the race car, I could race every day if the car was ready.
Spoken like a true racer. Logan, we just got done talking with Jacob, and he was telling us about this new health regimen he's on. Are you on the same plan? I know you've always been big on your physical fitness, but the no beer and the eating healthy, are you on the same plan?
Not quite as much as he is, but not. I mean, quarantine was a little rough. Now I feel like it was tough to stay away from the beer a little bit then. But no, I'm not quite as much as Jake. I think I had a beer after the races last night, but that was about it. So I try to eat healthy and that way my mind's right and all that. But Jake's definitely, his head's in the right place and he's trying to take every advantage he can.
Pretty incredible. It's enjoyable to watch you guys race and what Shark Racing has done over the years and watching you guys learn and grow. That being said, you're the points leader right now in the Jackson Nationals and 22 points ahead of second place, which is incredible. Rolling into tonight, $30,000 on the line. What is your thoughts? What are your feelings? 22 points ahead. It puts you really well with this format. What is your expectations for this evening?
Well, I think I don't think we're going to change a whole lot with the race car. You know, we get a warm up, and if the racetrack's similar, you know, we're in a good spot. I think the worst we can start is 4th. So we just want to go out and try and win our biggest race so far. You know, our best, you know, earnings was second in AGCO Nationals, but our biggest win was the Ironman. So if we could win a big race like the Jackson Nationals, that'd be really cool. So whether it's 100,000 or 30,000, it's you know, trying to make it one of the biggest races in the sport. So I think my grandfather won it once in the mid '80s and flew home, bought my mom a car when she was a teenager. So lucky her. But that'd be cool to put my name on that list and win one of the, you know, prestigious races in sprint car racing.
It sure would. Logan, final question. You know, Drydene has been a huge supporter of our show, but certainly a huge supporter of your race team. Shark Racing, from where you were a few years ago to where you are now, it's there you go, your DRF hat. It's really been awesome to watch you guys grow. But talk about the support from Drydene. They're just an amazing company, and we're all thankful for them in our sport.
Yeah, the whole group, Dave, Al, we were able to be introduced to Drydene through Gene Nace and just their whole team. Every employee that you talk to of all the locations that we've gone, they all love working with Drydene. So it just shows how good their leadership is at the top, and we feel the same love as their employees, as a sponsor and a partner, and it just feels like one big team. So Drydene's been awesome to us, and it's great to represent them on our car.
It is, and it's great to represent them on radio as well, or I should say Dirt Vision tonight. Logan, it's great to catch up. Thank you as always. We wish you and Jacob the best of luck tonight. Hopefully one of you grab that big check.
Well, I hope so. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you. Well, Ashley, I think that about sums up our pre-race show. I know we didn't get you to the real Jackson Nationals, not there physically, but doing this virtual show, I know you feel the excitement for the race. Any last minute thoughts, any predictions?
Cool, definitely no predictions. It would be awesome to see one of the Shark boys win it, especially Jacob, just because he's still digging there. Obviously, Logan won last night. You know, Brad Sweet, you can't ever count him out. So it'll be interesting. You can watch it on Dirt Vision. Make sure you're tuned in. Great stuff.
Absolutely. I want to make sure we thank Doug Johnson, Guy Forbrook, Shane Phillips, Of course, Logan and Jacob for joining us today. Thank Dirt Vision, and let's thank our phenomenal producer behind the scenes, Craig Moore, and all the guys at MRN for making this happen. For more Wing Nation, make sure to check out our Twitter, Facebook page, and of course, wingnation.com. For Ashley Stremme, I'm Erin Evernham, and we want to thank you, the fans, for joining us here on the 42nd annual AGCO Jackson Nationals Wing Nation show presented by Drydene.
Find Wing Nation on wingnation.com, Facebook, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider. The Wing Nation podcast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.